Hello and welcome to A VO's Journey. Today we're going to be discussing 3 reasons why you're probably not getting voiceover work. I spoke about them this morning in a very 20,000 foot view, and what I want to do today is go into each one of those reasons why you might not be getting voiceover work. Okay? Here's the thing. There are, in my opinion, right, 3 legs to getting voiceover work in your business. Okay. The first leg is you've got to be able to have high quality audio. Okay. You've got to be able to have high quality audio. Now, what does that mean exactly? That means that you've got a really great treated space. You've done everything you could to treat the space so that when you go to record your work, there's no bounce coming off the wall. There's no frequencies that are just glaringly bad. Okay. Your equipment is set up right. You've got decent equipment and the quality of your sound is very professional. That's important. That's the first thing. It's got to be there. Okay. If your quality of your sound is not professional, it doesn't sound up to the standards that of the people you're competing against, you're just not going to even be considered. And this is the thing, right? Because I think what happens is that I know is a lot of people who are they're trying their best. And I think at the moment they feel possibly that they don't have enough money to invest in maybe some better equipment, maybe more treatment for their space. Maybe they feel the space themselves that they have at the moment is very difficult to work with. You know what I mean? It's just not what they would like. So they do the best they can and then move on to the other 2 things that I'm going to talk about. And that, and I understand that. We all started there, but it's important to know though, to not then beat yourself up, okay, in the sense that, you're not able to compete on some levels. And I think that's an important thing to do as we go through this, to understand that there is work in various places. And you're going to hear a lot of people out there, a lot of other coaches, a lot of other people in the industry who will tell you things, that say you shouldn't do this if you don't have that, or you can't do this if you don't have that. And that there's some truth to part of that. So, perfect example is at Academy Voices, right? I've opened the site to accept people joining, but I've set a very high quality standard because we are charging top GVA rates to clients. They're managed projects. We're not charging a fee to join, and I only take a 20% commission off of those high rates that we're charging. So the people I'm putting on that site have to have all of these things I'm talking about in spades. Okay, but there's other places, just like when I started on Fiverr, and ACX, and the funny thing is that even on those platforms now, you always have to be trying your best. You know what I'm saying? Like, you always have to be improving. So one point I'm trying to make to you is that you should always, always, always be searching and seeking out to get better quality audio. Okay? That's the first thing. All right? So you could possibly not be getting work because your audio is not up to par. Okay? All right. Second thing, your acting. Your acting needs to be fantastic. And when I say fantastic, I mean it needs to meet the expectations that the market is demanding. And that's for the specific genres in which you are competing in. So if you are trying to do, 15, 30-second commercial spots for social ads, you need to make sure that you can compete on that level with all the other people who are competing on that level, and that hopefully you're standing out above them some, okay? And to do that, you've got to work on the craft. It's funny because I've been an actor all my life. I went to school for acting. I've been doing acting, directing, casting, in all sorts of ways, in live theater, voice acting, etc. And I can tell you that a great actor stands out. They just stand out amongst everybody else. Okay. And, they can do a lot of things. Now, there's some, and I preface this with genre, right? Because you might be a really great documentary narrator, but when it comes to doing, radio imaging, I mean, and you're doing maybe jingles, or you're trying to do announcing and stuff. Maybe you're not fantastic at that, but you're really great at heartfelt documentary pieces. That's wonderful. Go all in on the heartfelt documentary pieces. Just because you might not be getting a lot of traction on the other end, but then we work on the craft, right? And to work on the craft, there's always some things that you can do alone, right? But you really do need to have a coach or an academy, whether you join a VO's Journey Lead Academy or you get an individual coach or whatever you do, right? You need to have that feedback. Acting is never meant to be done alone, in the sense that, the idea of acting is supposed to be in front of people. You're supposed to get feedback. Now, we've changed it over the years because of TV and because of social, so you don't really get that feedback from comments and things, but not like it had been done for thousands of years on the live stage, right? Where there was always immediate feedback. There was always reaction, all right? Acting, we always called acting is reacting. Well, what is it reacting to? It's reacting to the story, what's happening, the action, the audience, okay? So all that being said, you need a coach, you need a group, you need classes, you need to be able to react or have people that are giving you something so that you can react to it, so that you can recreate that in your mind when you go to perform. Because as you know, we perform by ourselves alone in a padded room. So, it's really important to have that feedback and to get that training. And it's good to have multiple coaches, right? It's good to have multiple coaches over time. When you do find a coach that fits you, stick with them. You know what I mean? If it fits you, that's great. Stick with them. If it doesn't, that's okay. Keep searching for coaches. It's not that one coach is good or one coach is bad. All right. And also, you're going to find a lot of people with different points of views. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. There'll be some people who will say other people are ruining things or destroying things. Let that go. Let that go. No one is destroying or ruining anything. All right. We make our own choices. Okay. And, that's as simple as that. And you make your own choice. So pick people that you work well with, that help you, that you connect with. And if you haven't found them, that's okay too. Just keep searching. But the acting is paramount to your success. If you're struggling getting work, it could be that your acting, your interpretation, we've been doing a lot of work in Academy Voices recently with script analysis and interpretation. So you understand when you get a script, when you get the directions, when you read the script and those directions, do you perform, do you make the acting decisions that are matching what other people reading those would expect to hear? This seems like it should be easy, but it's not. There is something there that people struggle with, because sometimes what you think is caring or authoritative might be different for me. Does that make sense? It might be completely opposite. It might not be what you think it is. That's why getting that feedback, getting that coaching, being in groups, that really helps working on your craft. Actors, it doesn't mean if they're the most famous actors in Hollywood or people that we look up to as performers throughout history. These people constantly trained in their craft, whether it was taking classes, whether it was doing workshops, performing, they are always training. You always train because we are always evolving as a human race. We're always changing. We change as we get older. We're always searching for, who we are, why we're here. What is the point of all this? Our feelings change about things. Right? My feelings about things have changed a lot from when I was in my 20s until now. And when I was a younger kid until my 20s and then the 30s and then my 40s. And then, we'll stop there. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it changes. Okay? So it's important that we're always seeking that out and working on telling better stories, expressing our messages more effectively. All right, the third thing is marketing. Marketing, if you possibly could not be getting work because your marketing isn't going very well. And when we look at marketing, think of marketing as the overarching strategy, okay, to getting work. Okay, we've got, in your marketing, there could be a variety of different ways. You're advertising, you're selling, okay, from a client that goes point A to point B to point C to point D to where they buy a voiceover from you, and then, E, you rinse and repeat. That whole marketing strategy, where you post things, who you email, when you follow up, et cetera, that is your marketing strategy. And if that strategy isn't, sorry, there's people messaging me. If that strategy isn't working effectively, that could really be a reason why you're not getting voiceover work. One thing I love to do is analyze data. I love the story that data tells. It's funny, when I was getting my master's in educational leadership, when I was looking to become a principal, and I'd gotten it in administration for a while. And then I decided I didn't want to do in administration anymore because that was not. Anyways, but the point is, when I was getting my master's, I remember, there was a lot of data analysis. We were doing a lot of data analysis numbers, right? With, whether it was on the educational side, whether it was on the financial side, whatever it was, there's just a lot of data analysis. And I really grew to love the story that the data tells. All data tells you a story. And where I'm going with this is your data, okay, is telling a story. If you are not collecting any data, well, that's telling a story too. Okay. But what I mean by that is, perfect example is, let's say that you are auditioning on a platform and you audition 10 times a month. Okay, and you take that, you audition 10 times a month and you don't get a job. Maybe you're shortlisted somewhere, maybe someone contacted, but you didn't get a job. Okay, so now we've got some data points here, right? We know that we've taken 10 actions that have put us in front of people who were looking to hire a voice actor pretty quickly at that moment. Now we've seen that data and said, okay, well, I did 10, I did not get a job. Maybe there was more data there, like I got shortlisted 2 times. So that means that someone probably listened to my work and said, oh, maybe there's somebody we want to move to a second tier of interest. All right, so I stood out a little bit in those. So now you have data points to say, okay, well, if I do 10 the next month, do I expect the same? That I get 2 shortlists and no work? Well, the point of the data is to say, okay, well, that's not working yet, meaning I'm not getting the desired result, which is work. So maybe I need to move to 15 auditions, 20 auditions. What happens then? Do I go up to 4? Do I go up to 6 shortlists? Am I not? Am I moving down? What is the variation here? And then once I'm collecting this data, when things start to happen, how do I then look at that data and say, okay, well, these are the changes, these are the things I need to add, these are the things I need to tweak. But you can't make those decisions and get in front of more people and get more business until you start collecting data. So don't forget, on the side note, part of your marketing is tracking. You need to track these things. Could be emails. I sent out a couple emails this week. No one responded to me. Or I sent out 10 emails and I got a response and I got a lead from that. Or I send out 50 emails and I got 1 job. Okay, but it took me 3 months to get that job because I needed to nurture that relationship. I sent out 50 emails and a couple people got back to me, but then nothing happened. I didn't follow up. I didn't send more emails. I only sent 1 email. You've got to collect data. But the reality is if you are not getting work, marketing could be a big part of why you're not getting work. So to wrap all this up, those 3 things, the quality of your audio, your acting, and marketing, if you're not getting work, one, two or three or all of them that's not working right. So why go through this whole thing anyways? Why tell you all this? Because you need to look at those three things as points of interest in you bettering your business, making it better, making certain you're working on those three things. You're working on the quality of your audio. You're working on your acting, your performance. You're working on your marketing strategy, all right, and how you advertise your services, how you sell. Those are different, right? And you need to know the differences, because a lot of people don't, and they think branding, for example, which is a marketing strategy, they think branding is selling, right? And there's some philosophical arguments to be made these days about branding. I get all that, but I'm talking about the sheer definition of these things. Branding, advertising, selling, these are different, and they're done differently. But you need to know what makes them different. And part of your problem could be that you don't know what the difference is, and you're doing one thing and you should be doing the other thing. I find that the majority of voice actors do not sell. They are trying to brand themselves. The majority of voice actors do nothing but branding. When you post something on LinkedIn about a job that you've done, okay, or something like that, that's branding. Again, people could make a philosophical argument about this or that, but you're branding because you're trying to make people aware of you. Okay, that's not an advertisement. That's not a sale. You're not selling, you're branding. Now, can that brand be effective? Oh my gosh, yes, it can be. It can be hugely effective. But can you really quantify the value of a brand? That's very difficult. You know, if you read anything across the spectrum and the philosophies behind branding and the nature of we trust and we purchase with trust, we understand how important that is. But at the same time, quantifying it is near impossible. So that's why a lot of times branding is a vital part of your business, but at a larger scale. So I try to start people off without the idea of branding, because branding does not help you in the short term, especially when you're first starting, because you're branding something that has not been proven yet. Okay, and you've got to sell. You've got to sell, and a lot of us don't want to sell. We think selling is, like asking someone to buy something from us. We don't like that. Advertising, putting out that we're running specials, right? We're doing something really cool with this, with this voiceover we're doing. Check us out here, right? Like that's different. That's asking people to take action, whereas branding is just hoping that someone becomes aware of us. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think most voice actors, the majority of them, are trying to brand. And the sad part is the majority of them are branding to other voice actors, because other people aren't looking for that. So the point I'm trying to make with all this, again, is that one or more of those three things are not working. And we want to work on those three things. You need to plan to work on those three things. Get feedback on them. See where you stand. Get with a coach, join a VO's Journey Elite Academy, whatever you've got to do, or another academy, doesn't matter. Just do something to, know if you're on the right track, because you can listen, but your ears will deceive you, especially after a while, meaning that, you'll have your own thoughts, which are wonderful. And that's important. It's important to make your own acting decisions. Yes. But I mean, you need to get feedback, because remember what I said in the beginning about the performance and acting. It is a collaborative experience. It's not, ironically, even though we do it by ourselves as voice actors, we still, the point is for everyone to hear us. The point is for a casting director to cast us. So you've got to think in that mindset that this is a collaboration, even though you're doing it alone. Okay? And that's why it's important to work with coaches and things like that. All right, I'll stop. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful Friday. Don't forget to check out VO's Journey Elite Academy. Really, we're running, a special half off to give us a shot for a month. Check it out, or check out somewhere else. Get with someone or a group. All right, to just get better at this. Okay, there's a lot of opportunity out there. There really is. Okay. Keep that in the forefront of your mind. Don't let people, trick you in saying there's not a lot of opportunity out there. There is a lot of opportunity out there. We're just not doing a great job getting it. That doesn't mean it's hard. It's not hard. It is. I'm just saying there is a lot of opportunity, and you can do it. All right. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Also, don't forget to check out Academy Voices if you feel like you're ready to submit there. And I hope to talk to you guys soon. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful Friday. Bye-bye.